the #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.
Good morning, guys, and welcome to episode 190 of Costa Rica Real Estate and Investments with me, your host, Richard Beckson. Today, we're going to be talking with Kimberly and Jason Ocana, who are originally from Florida, but making Costa Rica home and developing a retreat lodge here in Playa Grande called Ananda Lodge. This is the second time we've got them on. This is part 2. We did part 1 of the podcast in episode 170. So if anyone's listening and wants to go to 170 first, you'll get part 1, and this is part 2, and then we'll do part 3 and part 4, as they go through their journey, which is getting kind of pretty close now to opening up, probably May, June time. So we're going to be talking to them about their experience and also what advice they have for others as well. Remember, guys, if you're enjoying this podcast and would like to get information on investing in Costa Rica, you can go to our website, investingcostarica.com. You can sign up for our newsletter. We've actually got been adding people to the team here and kind of growing it a little bit more, kind of helping investors make the right decision. In our website, we actually have curated, analyzed investments as well, where you can actually see that we've taken some listings in Costa Rica and done an analysis for them, giving them a grade. So you guys can just sign up with your email address there, jump into that, and you can have access to all of that. And you can kind of analyze and filter certain properties like you would do a stock or like you would do, a fund, those kind of things. We take our data, kind of apply that data to the property and kind of give it a bit of a grade like Moody's as well. So you can jump on the website there. You can also chat with our staff. You can get a free 15-minute consultation with some of the guys here in the office, including myself as well. There's a button called book a call. You can jump on there and schedule a call and chat with them, whether it be relocation, whether it be investing, real estate here in Costa Rica. Feel free to pick our brains, guys. We really are happy to chat with you and help you. As I say, we've got 15 minutes for everyone, and we're a sucker for helping people. So again, investingcostarica.com, or you can email us info@investingcostarica.com. But let's get straight into the podcast. Good morning, Jason and Kim. How are you doing?
Good morning, Richard. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Morning, Kim. Morning. Back from Peru, I hear, Kim.
I am just back from Peru. Yes, happy to be back in Costa Rica.
Well, I don't know, with the heat that we have here at the moment, I was up in Guanacaste last week on Tuesday, and I mean, it's Costa Rica's pretty warm at the moment.
Yes, it's been getting hot quick here in the mornings, it heats up very quick.
Yeah, well, I mean, here in the Central Valley, kind of the clouds have started to come in. I was in Aranao yesterday, kind of came back, and you could see the clouds kind of starting to form. So hopefully, probably mid-April, we'll start to get a bit of rain here in the Central Valley, and then probably you guys up there in May and June like normal. So, well, I mean, I just want to kind of, the first question I always like to ask is just get people's viewpoint on what's happening. Things seem to have slowed down a little bit in Western markets. I mean, they've steadied a little bit. I mean, what are you guys seeing happening here in Costa Rica?
Yes, I agree. There has been a bit of a slowdown in the Western markets. North American, US and Canadian markets have definitely, I think, seen a little bit of a pullback. And I think we're starting to finally see some of that affect some of the outlier markets in the areas down here. Playa Grande in particular is still, I think, booming.
Yes, it is.
It has not been affected by this, but once you kind of get on some of those outskirts, maybe in some of like the Matapalo and again the Huacas areas, yep. I'm starting to see some stuff come across my like email chains showing me that, oh, hey, look, here's the same property again with another price reduction. We're starting to see multiple price reductions in some of these properties, and some of the outside areas. But again, your hot markets, such as like a Playa Grande, are still doing pretty good, still strong.
Yeah, I mean, it's exactly what I'm seeing. I mean, it's just kind of, there's a bit of a contraction, as it always is, around the Tamarindo, Playa Grande, Conchao, Flamingo areas. I mean, the core areas are still very strong. Prices are still good. Just maybe where, as you said there, Villarreal, Huacas, those areas, are kind of, you start to see a price reduction. So the prices were probably a little too high anyway, to be honest with you guys. I mean, you probably, I know that we've chatted about it quite a few times, but yeah. Well, guys, again, I had you on episode 170, which must have been about 20 weeks ago. God, I can't believe it was that long ago. But I mean, refresh listeners, kind of about your journey so far and what the next month look like for you guys.
Yeah, so we are almost complete with our build of our healing center, Ananda Lodge in Playa Grande. Our family moved to Costa Rica at the end of August 2023, so we've been here just about 6 months or so, acclimating our children. We have two children, a boy and a girl, 11 and 12. So they're acclimating really well to the culture, the environment, the school, the community that we're in. It's really great to see them experience life in a whole new way, that's surrounded by nature and really good people. And our build is going really well. So we are still on schedule to complete our build at the end of April, with an opening at the end of May, beginning of June for our boutique healing center.
Wow, wow. Well, I mean, I have intricate knowledge of this because we are project managing your build for you. But I mean, you guys have added some additions on as well. You've got a Maloka, you've got a couple of additional units there. But I mean, give people an idea of kind of what it was that you were building there as well. Like how many rooms, kind of like, as you said, it's a healing center. Give us a little bit more kind of a bit of an idea. So for the listeners who haven't listened to episode 170, have an idea of kind of what it is.
Yeah, so our goal in creating this healing center is to create a very small, well-curated, intimate experience. So we started off with our first phase, our main lodge, which is 8 units total. So it's a 2-story lodge, 4 and 4 units. Each of those being like a small hotel junior suite, if you will. We are also building a large rancho area that will have a commercial kitchen, overlooking the ocean and our pool area. We're building a very nice pool that sits kind of perched right up on our on the hillside. We also have our Maloka, which is essentially a big palapa, is what they're called here locally.
Yep.
That's where our medicine ceremonies will take place, as well as any other group gatherings for group sound baths or yoga classes. We are also building another massage hut, we're calling it, but that'll be used primarily for people who would like to have a massage, but also one-on-one sound healings, which Kimberly does a great job at. Then we also have done in phase 1.5, we went ahead and moved forward with what we initially thought at the beginning of this build was going to be our phase 2. We started that phase immediately. We quickly found out during the build that it was better to just go ahead and do everything at once. One of the big concerns was just access. As we build our pool area, we're going to be cutting off the main vein of how the guys for the construction crews have been able to get a lot of the large materials up there. So we decided that it was best for us to go ahead and build that immediately. So we're doing 3 other casitas, as well as a 2-bedroom, 1-bath host house that we're calling it, that will be for our healers that we bring up, because when we're doing our ayahuasca ceremonies primarily, those healers will be coming up for 2 months at a time. So they need a little bit more of a homey feel, rather than just feel like they're camping out in a hotel room, so to speak.
Sure. Well, I mean, look, I mean, it's been great to see it kind of evolve. And I like that you guys, your phase 2 became phase 1.5, because I agree, like kind of ripping off the band-aid of just getting all construction done. I think while from a investment point of view, I mean, it's definitely, it feels like you just keep going deeper and deeper. But I think, in the long run, not having to close down at all, or not having to be able to do like ceremonies while you guys do that, because construction, as you guys are very aware, is very messy here in Costa Rica. And I mean, if you guys had put plants in and stuff, it would just get destroyed. You've seen how these construction crews are. So yeah, I think that's smart. I mean, what have been some of the challenges you guys have had so far, and what's just been like really easy, where you were like, this is way too easy?
I would say some of the challenges that I've experienced in having a vision of wanting to be sustainable is the budget in
Yep.
being sustainable. It can tend to be much more expensive, really being completely sustainable. So I've had to make some trade-off decisions of what is sustainable on the spectrum and what still aligns with the vision yet is in the budget. Some things that have been easier, I would say, are because we have such a clear vision of the experience that we want to provide and the high level of integrity. There have been some really beautiful organic partnerships that have come through in supporting local, the local community. One being with the individual locally that is going to build all of our beds, our headboards, our dining tables. That came really natural and easy, and it supports local. The other is our landscape architect, having a really clear vision of not just wanting to have nice plants, but having a vision of having the entire land be a medicinal garden, a garden that regenerates the land, that brings specific species of birds and plants that are local to Guanacaste that are also medicinal. That has just seemed to flow really easy. So I think the clearer that we've gotten in our vision of the highest integrity of healing, these partnerships have come in. We are just about to sign a partnership with the School of Natural Cookery that focuses on quiet cooking close to center, which is about intuitive listening and energetics through food. And that as well just has come as a beautiful manifestation of a really clear vision.
I mean, what about from, the construction side? I mean, what has been the challenges, or what's just been easier for you guys than you thought it would be?
Well,
not that construction's ever easy, unfortunately.
Yeah, it like everything, it comes in waves. We have had some holdups. Some holdups with some of the design process or redesign process. As you get deeper and deeper into the build, you may see that what I thought was going to work this way, we quickly realized that maybe this isn't the right route to go. And so there have been some amendments in from the original design plan. And so working with the construction companies and contractors to find a solution, and B, also be able to keep us on the timeline that we want to be on. That's definitely been somewhat of a challenge. There's been some times where, hey, we've got to put in a little bit of extra time at the property today so that we can really hash out what needs to be done for ABC, this phase of the project, so that we can move forward on it with confidence and know that we're going to get a finished product that we're happy with.
And to that, I would also add something that we've taken for granted living in North America is just access to amenities and fixtures being one of them. So having a much smaller pool to pull from, and some of those fixtures costing a lot more money and needing to outsource them, going outside of the Guanacaste area to acquire those fixtures and have them still be with the theme that matters to us. And then managing water throughout the construction process. That has been something very fluid, no pun on words, but ebbing and flowing with when water is shut off, only having access to water for a set period of time every day, and having to plan pouring concrete around the management of water has been something new that we would never have experienced in building in North America.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot in the Western world, we take water for granted, that you just turn on your tap and it comes out. I mean, and here in Costa Rica, we have an excess of water. What we don't have is great water infrastructure, unfortunately, you see. And, while the water infrastructure never catches up to where the construction, like the development is. And it's private money that has to develop it. I mean, these asadas don't have money because water is somewhat affordable here. Like, it's not, aggressively expensive. So the money that the water associations get for this, I mean, it's really just kind of run the administration of it. Whereas when it comes to infrastructure work, they have to rely on private individuals and donations in order to do that. So, I mean, that's the beauty of Costa Rica, of like, if it was really easy and all that infrastructure was there, we'd be developing everywhere, and I think you guys know is like, it's not for the lighthearted. I mean, it really isn't. Like, if you're looking for something easy, I mean, this is not easy by any means. It's fun. And I'm sure that you guys in a couple of years will sit back with a glass of wine and laugh about it. It's not always fun when you're in it.
Oh yes, there's definitely been some uncomfortable evenings where we're sitting around maybe having a glass of wine, kind of pulling our hair out, going, "What did we get ourselves into?" But then it all seems to go out with the tide, and we've been able to successfully find solutions, and especially with the help of your team and the help of the contractors that we've partnered with. We've been very fortunate in that aspect that we've surrounded ourselves with such a strong team while one moment we may be a bit worried, we're able to find that solution and move forward and feel comfortable again, I guess, if you could call it comfortable.
And I think too, like, for me, it's been a journey of learning the embodiment of Pura Vida. It's not just something that is said, it is learning the essence of tranquilo and how to work with the rhythm of how work is done. Work is done much different here. It's very much relationship based, where in North America, it's contract based and you get it done. And that's not how we found it to work here, which is really beautiful, but can also butt up against deadlines. And how do you work with the system and the way it is and still feel the essence of Pura Vida when all of the workers live the essence of Pura Vida too? So that has been a journey, a beautiful journey of really learning how to embody the essence of Costa Rica.
Yeah, I was chatting in the podcast beforehand of like, Costa Rica's number one asset is its people and that culture and that Pura Vida aspect. And like, you have to understand that when you do anything here, like, again, you have to kind of just surf that wave because it comes and goes. And if that was to change, Costa Rica wouldn't be the same. I mean, Costa Rica is a beautiful country, but Panama is as well. And so is Colombia, and so is Ecuador, etc. But the people here, once you've been here and you contrast that, you just really understand of like, it's that culture and the people here that do really make this country unique. Yeah.
Absolutely. When I first started coming down here, over 20 years ago, I came down here for the waves. Obviously, that was what I was here for on a surf trip. But I really fell in love with the people and the culture, and that's ultimately what has been drawing me back over this time.
That just doesn't align in deadlines sometimes and getting so but anyway, I mean, what advice would you have for anyone looking to do something similar in Costa Rica? Because I'm sure there's quite a few people looking to do something, buy a hotel, or something similar. I mean, what would be your advice for them, guys?
Number one, partner with Invest in Costa Rica, and honestly, truly, because there's no MLS here, so there's no multiple listing system that is up to date that will let you know with certainty that a property is for sale. So when you're searching for a property, raw land, commercial, residential, it is a mixed bag. And what says it's still for sale online could have sold 6 months ago. That was part of our experience. And so having trusted advisors that know what to look for in properties. I mean, understanding the water situation and what a water letter means when you invest, because you can get a piece of land and if it doesn't have a water letter, you just have a piece of land and you have no water. So really finding an advisor or a partnership to help you navigate this first and foremost was the best decision that we made.
Yeah, I agree there. And as well, as you move past the initial purchase, if you're buying something that's existing and maybe needs a little bit of work, or you're buying a hotel that needs some help operationally, or even just building from the ground up, having a team that has relationships locally is huge. Because again, like we were just saying, so much of the work down here is relationship based. And so we land here this past August. I don't have relationships with multiple contractors or any of the local either construction purveyors or food and beverage purveyors or linen purveyors. I don't have those contacts yet, and it takes time to build that. So by partnering with someone who's been down here for some time and has those relationships and is able to share those relationships and it may make those introductions for you, really just takes off so much time in the process and a lot of headache for us as the investor.
Yeah.
And I would say, take your time.
Mm-hmm.
Vacationing here is very different than living here. Time slows down here, which is very beautiful, but it can be a real jolt to the nervous system when you're used to coming from North America, Canada, Europe, and you think that this is what you want. And then you get here and you realize that tranquilo is a thing. You think you're going to do all of your shopping on Saturday and Sunday, and places aren't open because they are really respecting the Pura Vida lifestyle. So I think just taking your time and being in an area for 3 months before you invest, or investing and coming down multiple times, because it is an adjustment. It was a big adjustment for me for the past 6 months to really, it looked good, it sounded good. It is good, but there's been a big transition that's had to happen inside of me to align with the culture here. So just taking your time. Everything in my experience in the US has a sense of urgency. And so really recognizing that internal sense of urgency and sitting back before you make a big decision.
Yeah, I agree. I was just actually chatting with a lawyer, Marco, who you guys know, and he was like, Rich, we just closed a deal the other day for a beach bungalow, and the person had never seen it before, never been to Costa Rica. And I was like, dude, that's crazy, man. Like, we just had a client. They'd been to Costa Rica multiple times, actually invest in our treehouse project, and they took a whole villa. But he was like, "I'll take a whole villa," and I was like, "Dude, you need to come down and see like where it's at." He knew the area and everything, but I'm like, "I will not give it to you unless you come and see." So he had to fly into country. I went down with him, showed it to him, explained everything, and I was like, "Now you can if you want to. Like, if you don't, I completely understand. But like, come on, man. Like, this is not a country just to jump into the deep end."
Yeah, and it's not as easy in the US to undo that,
Correct.
you know,
There is no
as
undoing.
fast as you can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there is no undoing, unfortunately, here. You'll spend more money undoing than you probably would do jumping in the deep end.
Just getting it done.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. I mean, look, you guys have been here now 6 months. I mean, what are the businesses or the services that you guys are like, wow, we're really missing these? A lot of the stuff people say is like, I mean, which is crazy, like Whole Foods or, those kind of style, places. I mean, is there anything that you guys would love to have had that you had at home down here?
Please no Whole Foods or Walmarts.
Okay.
I value the drive that it takes to get to the Walmart if I really want to go, or the Price Smart.
Yep.
I would love, in Playa Grande, they're building a lot of residential. I would love to see some little cafes, some more juice bars. I love around here that there's apothecaries and botanicas. So some more of that in Playa Grande. I would love to see more. I would love to also see individuals that felt really passionate about water conservation solutions and helping the infrastructure here, as you mentioned, empowering the local community of how to work with the influx of people and building in a way that is sustainable for the local community. So I would love to see education for the local community, because as prices increase for all of us, it increases for the local community too. And so if they're sharing their land with us, their rich history, how do we help them move along on this continuum of evolution and development and rapid influx of the West?
Yeah, I mean, it's while Costa Ricans have done well, there is that sense, that underlying current that things are getting a little too expensive. I mean, I was hiking with some guys today and they went to Japan and they were like, guys, it was cheap, Japan, compared to Costa Rica. I mean, I remember 20 years ago going to Europe was expensive coming here from Costa Rica. Now Europe's cheap compared to Costa Rica.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we've been helping with farming solutions that are organic. So I would love to see more influence and support in organic farming would be.
Yeah. No, I look, I mean, I think that that's probably the one thing that, especially Playa Grande is missing, is just a little more of those little commercial areas, and it doesn't need to be anything major. We're not talking strip malls here, kind of those more organic orientated things. And, even like kind of like God, how do you call it? We have a thing here where there's like not food trucks. I mean, you guys have got that now down at the beach club down there.
Yeah, we've got yeah.
But like those stalls where people can set up their own food stalls, and that's a little bit more kind of local. Maybe with like the farmers market twice a week, where local people are coming in and they can just grab like you'd grab a workspace in WeWork, you can grab one of these stalls and have your business there, and anyone can kind of just come and go. Like it's very community based.
Yes.
So. Well, my last question, which I love to ask everyone, guys, if you inherited $500,000 and had to invest it in business or real estate in Costa Rica, what would you invest it in?
I think going back to water and water solutions,
Yep.
And figuring out how to be the most sustainable with the current water situation that we're dealing with here in the Playa Grande Matapalo area as a whole. Yeah, I think if anybody can put some focus into that and find a good solution, whether it's through reverse osmosis or even working with some of I mean we have a whole ocean by us, desalination program. I think water solutions is probably at the top of the list of things that need to be done in the area.
I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I would continue investing in healing and sacred reciprocity for those that have deep ancestral practices with medicines and are bringing them to the West. How do we make that more accessible? So part of our work with Ananda Lodge is being a bridge between mainly Peru and Costa Rica, and bringing very wise indigenous healers to the West so they can be accessible to people, and honoring that. And how do we honor the people of this land and support them in this huge renaissance of healing and reconnecting with the land?
Yeah, I mean, jumping into Jason's desalination plant there, I mean, it 100%. I mean, Reserva Conchal has one. It just costs $15 million. I mean, Hacienda Pinilla has one, $15 million. Just, it's a great solution. It's just very expensive at this moment in time, and hopefully that can change. I mean, I was talking with some clients the other day about taking, moisture out of the air. There are panels that do that, and etc. For water. But I mean, that's not really a mass, really, like, it's not going to solve that solution. I mean, it comes down to the government here really putting the infrastructure in, the AEA, which is the government organization, to put that infrastructure in place, because there is water all over this country, like an excess of water. It's just the infrastructure is terrible. And Kim, on your point, I've always wondered though, I mean, there have got to be some tribes here in Costa Rica that have worked with some of, because I mean, you guys have quite a bit of, tribe is maybe not the word, but like indigenous, communities in that area as well. I know further down south in Nicoya, the northern parts of Costa Rica, not so much, but like especially the southern areas. I mean, there are indigenous communities down there that are just completely cut off as well. It takes days to kind of hike in. So yeah, we'll have to get you down there, Kim.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, cacao is such a rich medicine that grows here, and bringing those farmers to the forefront, respecting the medicine. Cacao is mass produced now, but really understanding where it comes from and how it's cultivated. And yeah, I'll take you up on the trip down somewhere in the jungle in Nicoya.
I would love to, love to. Well, guys, I really appreciate you taking the time as always to jump on the podcast and give us kind of a bit of an update of where you are. And hopefully in the in 20 weeks time, you guys will be open and rocking and rolling. And it'll be great to kind of chat about the your journey through that stage as well.
Most definitely.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Not at all, guys. You have a great weekend.
You too.
You too.
Pura vida.
Guys, great podcast there with Jason and Kim. I hope you enjoyed it. As you can see, they're on their journey. They're building their retreat lodge, boutique retreat lodge here in Costa Rica. We actually helped them, you know, from finding the land to running the financial models to helping them with the design to bidding their project out and project managing the whole thing, as well as kind of guiding them on things to do when operating here in Costa Rica. As many of you know, I've been in tourism here for 20 years. And tourism really drives coastal investments and real estate here in Costa Rica. So it's kind of, you know, we have a lot of people in real estate, a lot of people in tourism, but the two never kind of cross. And I was able to kind of cross those two things. So guys, if you need any help with anything here in Costa Rica or just want to join our newsletter, I'd love to get everyone joined up to the newsletter. We'll be having that coming out kind of every month, every 2 weeks, where we look at investments available here in Costa Rica, things that we're doing, investments that we've seen here in Costa Rica, and just some advice on the right way to do things here in Costa Rica, so you just don't get your, you know, you don't get your fingers and hands burnt. But you can get across to our website, investingcostarica.com. That's investingcostarica.com. If you've enjoyed the podcast, please give us a thumbs up, 5 stars. I'd love to hear from you guys. But just really appreciate everybody, the support. It's great to hear from everyone that writes in. Is just like, hey, love the podcast. Thanks very much for giving all that information. And we will continue to do these, guys. You know, with a wide gambit of topics that we'll cover. And if there's anything that you would like us to cover, feel free to email us info@investingcostarica.com, and we'll see if we can find the expert. We probably have them in our Rolodex anyway. You know, our virtual Rolodex. For people that don't know what a Rolodex is, maybe a few of you are a little too young for that. You can just put that into Google and have a bit of a giggle. But anyway, we'll be more than happy to cover that topic. But until the next podcast, we'll catch you later. Thanks. Bye.
The #1 Costa Rica real estate and investment podcast, bringing you experts from all over Costa Rica.